But isn't that your own doing? You call yourself a perfectionist? You know, we will ask all sort of questions just to want to know a bit more about which one is the one, which is the serious one, which is the mother frame, we call it, huh? If you remember in class. Then we also have those guys who are in the reacting frame. And what are reacting? What is a reacting frame? That means you're not stable, so to speak, huh? It's very common, so you react.
Use more emotions.
Yes, they can be emotional, and because they are emotional, they can also be indecisive. They can't choose. Oh, I want both. I want this and I want that. No, both are important to me. So they want to have a cake and eat it. No, they just want to have everything. And because of that, they get into a state of where they react to situation, and so forth. Now, reacting is sometimes associated with what frame?
Doubt.
Which one?
Doubt.
Passive.
When they are fickle-minded.
Significant. Okay, when people are significant, they also can react. They take things seriously, and because of that, they become, angry very fast. They lose their temper. And all that. Okay. So here we are. They are emotional, and the other thing is when people are indecisive. They can't. Oh, I'm not sure whether I should send my daughter to school A or school B. I don't know whether I should, take the COVID test, right now or not. So you will have those kind of anything that's that make them indecisive. That becomes the reacting frame. Okay, and then you have people who are always in and people who are in doubt. So what are some of those words that people use to the self-limiting belief? Sure. What are some of those words that are used by people who are in the doubt frame or not confident frame?
Afraid of making mistake.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm not
and
sure.
Can't hear you.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
I'm not sure.
I think I'm not up to it.
I will try.
I will try, because I can't, then it will be trying as well as doubt. So which one is causing what? Is it the trying that's causing the doubt, or doubt is causing the trying? So we got to also understand that. So there's a lot of variables around it. But as long as we understand the fundamentals, I think we are fine. And then invalidation will be on what? What is invalidation?
Invalidation is which is not true. Making
Okay, they make
generalization.
Yeah, and what are some of those words that you hear from people who are in invalidation?
Example like I heard that you are going for in election, this coming general election.
Okay, not so clear.
Not so clear.
Not so clear.
It's never happen.
It will never happen. Or Michael, you are a fanatic. So generalization. No, you are everybody knows that you are no good. Everybody blah blah blah. So they make sweeping generalization. Nobody can, everybody cannot. So there's a nobody and everybody in their sentences. And why do people do that? Why do people invalidate? Why do the people invalidate?
Justify to themselves, probably.
Justify, that's right. They need evidences, so when they use everybody and nobody, that gives them, substantiation, that give them a lot of evidences to say that now you know why I'm not doing this or I'm doing this. And of course, finally, every time, everyone, that's right. Good, Polly. And you have people in fraud. So what is fraud? I know it's a very big name and it can be very provocative. But we don't mean the criminal kind of fraud. Here, fraud here means what?
Telling lies.
Telling lies.
Or not honest to themselves.
Not honest to themselves. There's integrity issue, in them. They are not there they don't face reality. Sometimes they just wait.
Unrealistic.
They are not realistic. They're just not realistic, and they just hope and pray that when they pray and they hope, things will come true. So these are the people who are in the self-denial, not honest state. Okay, so these are the frames. Now, let's move on to the other thing about frames and reframing. So framing is about what? Framing is changing that meaning. The guy who is significant, who look at things seriously, and because they look at things seriously, we find a way to make them feel more relaxed, so that it becomes more positive, more empowering. But circumstances still remain the same. Okay, circumstances don't change. Like a hot weather, you are angry with the hot weather. But if you have a way to look at the hot weather and say that, well, it's good for vitamin C. It's hot, but it gives me a lot of vitamin C, the sunny sky. It's still hot, but you put a different meaning into it. So that's basically what reframing is all about. Okay. And why coaches need to reframe? Because when we reframe people, we help them to accept their situation in a more positive and empowering way. So when we accept something, we feel better, but when we reject, we resist, that's where, we become unhappy and so forth. So that's basically the role of a coach, that we do something for others. We also do the same thing for ourselves, because we also need to self-reframe sometimes. So now let's look at some strategies. General strategies would be, if something is negative, we try to look up, we try to find a positive angle to it. Can someone give me a question that would denote, or not to me, to the class, or to the one all here? Can you just give a question that denotes you asking a question that changes negative to positive?
Probably, what is a good thing about this?
That's right. What is a good thing of this? What is a good thing about this failure? What is this good thing about not getting a job, getting this job? Okay, so that's negative to positive. Anything else?
What do we learn from this?
What do you learn from here? Yeah.
What do you learn from this COVID-19?
Okay, so again, there is a negative to positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So coaches, we got to have a very broad perspective where we don't look at things from one perspective. And so when the client sometimes say, "Oh, I have an issue," and when a coach say, "How can you solve this issue?" Sometimes it also denotes that the coach also see this as an issue. That's why he asked a question, or she asked a question on how can you solve this issue. You know what I mean? Then you see it as an issue. You also see it as a negative thing, and you're trying to find a solution to change a negative, what you call solution. But if you change it the other way around, okay, I have an issue. Can you imagine you ask a question? What is a good thing that you are having this issue now rather than later? Then it's like, oh, positive thing. So luckily, it's good that I have it now, and I don't have it later. So that that could be also some of those things that coaches do. So coaches, we got to be very versatile in our mindset to look at how to change, how to reframe the coachee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Past to future. Okay. What would be a question? Oh, I have always been so bad. Okay. Or I have always been, I've always been a failure in my life. Let's say someone says that. I've always been. Everything that I touch, I fail. Okay, I make it easier. Sorry, I changed the subject. I've always been a very bad public speaker, and I am still now. And I can tell you that in my life as a public speaker, I made so many mistakes, and people, laugh at me, and because of that, I don't do very well in my career.
So probably, how does this experience help you move forward?
How does this experience will move forward? Okay, it's a good thing to think about. And what are you learning about these mistakes that you have to move forward? Okay.
This question is, so what is this thing trying to teach you?
Yeah. So okay, that is like more on the positive, negative to positive, which is you can also use it in that way. But what will be a very clear what you call question that talks about moving people from the past to the future.
What about, do you want to be better at it?
Close question, but of course I'll say yes. Let's say I say yes. Then what would be your question?
Or how can you get better at it?
How can you get better? That will be on an action plan.
Action, yeah.
How do you want to see yourself? So there's a future state. So I paint a future state. You know what I mean? A desired goal. So what I want to understand myself is I want to be down there, speak with confidence, and make people laugh and very relaxed and at home with the crowd and whatever it is. So this is just another example of that. What about this? Future to past. So when people are in a future state, I know I am going to fail. If I were to do this. So, okay. I know. So this guy is invalidating. Okay. I know that it's not going to be good for me. I know I'm going to fail. I am going to fail.
So what do you need to do to again
Then we are also recognizing that they will fail. That's why they need action.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Which is not wrong. I mean, we do that. Typically, coaches do that. You know what I mean? They have a problem. We try to solve their problem without reframing. I mean, sometimes we get through with that. No problem with that. It's not wrong in that sense, no. But when you reframe, somehow or another, you shortcut the process.
How do you do it previously when you face the same problem like this?
Yeah, possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, or when were times in the past when you were successful, okay? So that's a future versus past kind of issue. So coaches, we need to do that. So there's one here. What is you don't have, how do you say, how do you know? How do you know? I know. I fail. Okay. I don't know, but I think I failed because based on past experience. What is you don't? Sorry, I don't understand. How would it be like? What if you don't? Okay, that's a future state. What if I don't? So that would be past to future. Patricia, you have a good question, but that's the one for past and future. This is future to past. So you must talk about time. When were times in life when this thing didn't happen to you? So that's the future to past. Okay. So sometimes it's past to future, sometimes it's future to past, depending, where they are coming from, Okay, let's try another one. Others to them. My boss, he's making me very, very uncomfortable. He's demotivating. He's very demotivating. Because of him, I can't do my job well. I don't get my promotion. I don't have all those kind of things. So now, others to oneself.
What can you do to change that?
What can you do to change that? Again, it's recognizing that yes, you're okay. So you're okay. Yeah, that's a good one. What can you do to change that? That means you take ownership.
What make you say that?
Then you only get
some validation.
You only get an explanation.
Okay.
Because they've been doing this to me all these years. So the other one is how might you have contributed to this situation? So that
have you seen others changing that and you can learn from?
Have you learned about others change that and have you seen other people? Yeah. So that could also be one. Yeah. Take it off from others and take accountability. That's the main one. So from the other frame is blame to responsibility, that you also had gone through just now. No? Okay, liability is an asset. Let's say, for instance, you say this, I have got so many mouths to feed. Let's say you're a guy who has got a large family, and in this COVID time, he feels that he can't, too many in the family is really a big burden to him. Okay. So Christian, he sees something as a liability. So you will turn it to some kind of asset. So you ask a question like,
Can you repeat the situation again, Mike?
Okay, he has a large family, okay? And because of the COVID, he feels that, having such a big family right now, and he wants to do something with the children. He wants to give it. He wants to give away his children. He wants to do something to the children because he sees this as a liability to him. He's cursing. He come home, he gets mad with the children because of you, see, so many of you, and now I find it very hard to make ends meet. Let's say he says that, huh?
What is the best thing about having such a big family, so many kids?
Yeah. So what's the good thing about having so many kids now? Yeah. What's the good thing having so many kids? I remember there was also one. I want to make a reference to. Let me see first. Yeah, Marina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Marina, remember we did a coaching session in the class the other day, and you said and you wanted to go back to France to see your children.
Yeah.
And then finally you decided that I think staying back is better than going over. And then you said this, but I still have that feeling I miss my children.
Yes.
And then I remember I asked you this question: is it natural for you to have that? You can recall?
Yeah.
And I told myself, I should have asked you the other question. And that is, what is good about having this feeling that you miss your children?
Yeah.
It's just another example of what I mean by, you frame from this to that. Huh?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, and then of course you have the other, let's go through it quickly. Victim to ally. You're a victim. We can use the same case where the boss is bullying you, and that's what you see. Okay, so my boss bullies me. He asked me questions to embarrass me. He does a lot of things, to make me feel so lousy in the workplace. And now you want to change that victim mindset that you have, or world meaning, to something that is.
Why do you think your boss is giving you this attention?
What is a good thing about why the boss is doing this to you? Okay, yeah, put the word good, and then that becomes okay. Yeah. So the good must be there. Okay, so this is just one general way, and of course in what you have learned, we have learned this. When people are insignificant, we move them into game. Let's do a bit of exercise. And what is game? Game is about what? What is game?
Game is how to find the way how this becomes less overwhelming and less stressful, and let's make it more engaging.
Make more engaging, more relaxed, and just enjoy our life. Let's not get too hung up with certain things. So the game state, less serious, lessen the impact.
Loosen a little bit.
Loosen yourself a little bit. It's like if you are more happier in the work, what will you get? Instead of you're not happy.
Enjoy
in the work,
it.
what do you
Enjoy
get?
it.
Let your hair down.
Let your hair down. Yeah.
How can you enjoy what you're doing? Things like this kind. So we talk about commitment. Okay, some question. What is a question that you ask to reframe somebody who's trying, and you want to move them into commitment? What would you be?
When will you do this?
When will you do this? Okay. When is the earliest you can do this? Okay.
When is the
earliest you can do this? Okay. What's another?
Can we put it on your to-do list?
Can we put it on your Can we put it? This is a close question, huh?
Okay.
What will make you put this into your to-do list?
Well, probably I'll ask them why this time is different, and you think you can do it.
Sorry, say again.
Why this time you think it will be different than the other times?
Why this time is more?
It will be different than the old times.
Yes, correct. Good. Yeah. How would this time be different from the previous time? Okay, good. Moving to commitment. And delay, you move them to what? You move them to action. Okay. Question? You can put a chat box as well. Huh? We can see both ways.
How soon can we do this?
How soon can you do this? Yeah. Or how can you do it now?
Yeah. Why don't you do it now?
Why? Then I tell you, I can't do it. Why they will use it as a justification?
It's about,
So it doesn't
yeah,
move.
it's
It doesn't
about
move. It
negative,
doesn't move.
yeah.
Okay, they just give you justification.
Okay.
Okay, take note, huh? But there's a thin line. There's a thin line down there. Okay, then people who are to blame, we say we move them to taking responsibility. So take charge, okay? And what would be some questions? He's blaming. He's blaming. He's blaming everybody. He's blaming everybody for what he is today.
So what can you do to change that?
What can you still do to change this? Okay, so you throw in the steel, then you enhance that responsibility. But it's good. I mean, what you say is also good, no, Martina? And when people are reacting, we move them to what? Responding. Okay, responding. They respond. They reflect. They broaden their perspective. So what would be a question that you ask? I give you a question. Huh? I give you one on that. I like to ask this question. I think some of you also ask that question. Somebody who cannot make a decision, and you ask him a question. Do you have to make that decision now? Then no, not really. And if you can delay making the decision, will you be able to make a better decision? Yes. So that's what I call responding. Some people, they want to rush into things. They're impatient. Okay, because of that, they make wrong decisions. So they're not responding. They don't allow an event to take its course. So what other question can you also ask?
But those kind of question is quite close-ended, right? The answer is yes, no, and unless we ask the yes, no, close-ended question, but then we build up with the provoking question. Am I?
Yeah, sometimes
right?
you can do that, but sometimes you can also ask a question.
Direct.
Like for instance, you ask a question. There was a case that I listened to okay, about buying a car. About buying a car. Okay. He doesn't want to buy a car because he's, to him money is tight. But the wife wants the car.
Okay.
So now you are asking a question. Who is more important in your life right now? the car or your wife? Okay. Things like that. You want to please yourself. Is it more important to please yourself now or to please your wife or to please somebody else? So that's a question where you put him in the spot. It's reality, so you just got to accept. So sometimes those questions are good as well.
I see. Okay.
Depending on the situation. Then doubt. So doubt, you make them trust themselves, believe in themselves. That's what you mean by doubt. So what would be a question that you ask in this direction? Like, for instance, I'm no good.
Sorry, what was that? I'm not good?
I am not good enough.
What are your strengths?
Okay, what are your strengths? Then what are you good at? Then I follow, you know what I mean? So
you change the other way around.
You change it this the other way around. That way.
Okay.
Or sometimes you want to ask a question, what is good about your current state, even though you don't have enough skills and all that. But what is good about you are in this state?
No, sometimes could this possibly be the voice in your head only?
Sorry?
Could this be possibly the voice in your head only?
Yeah, it could be just the voice in the head telling this person. And this person, because of that, could also be significant. So when you're extremely significant can also cripple you and make you feel that you're not good enough. So the rascal is actually significant. It's not the doubt. It's not the doubt by itself. It's a significant that causes the doubt. So we got to see the interrelationship between the frames. They are like moving here and moving there, and we got to know who is the mother frame and which is the child frame. And invalidation, okay, is a respect, exception to the rule. Basically, there are exceptions to the rule. Don't make sweeping statement. It's not all so bad. Okay. So what will be some questions in that respect? Everybody knows that the boss is not a good boss.
Okay.
Everybody knows that he's not a good boss. He has a terrible reputation. Let's say he says that.
What kind of evidence you have that he is doing this, doing that?
Okay, you can use evidences to support that, to break invalidation. Evidence is the best, okay? So you can even ask question like, who is that everybody? They may not even be able to answer who is that everybody, and who don't fall into this category of not liking the boss. So you move them to look at the exception to the rule. But when they say like everybody, why? Because they don't like the boss, so they want to gather evidences so that they look good, huh?
Sorry, Michael, on the evidence, I have a question. Sometimes when you go into this area, you start looking into issues and avoid talking about the person. So when you go into evidence, you start talking about the issues and you avoid precaution the client.
Okay, so what is your point here, Lois?
My point is that evidence is circumstantial. So people can circumstantial. I mean, evidence. Okay. Yeah, evidence is probably an issue, and you start drifting away from the topic rather than focusing on the client. You start focusing on the issues or the evidences that he's bringing to the discussion.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, it can be as well. So we got to be very, we got to be very discerning when you ask those questions. But these are all possibilities, possibilities that we can use. And then last one here, fraud to truth. Okay, let's say he says this. I'm not doing anything about this this guy in the office. He is not a good performer. I hope that one day he will change. I hope that one day he will realize that he is not, he is not performing, and the time is up for him to do something about himself. Yeah, I hope. So,
what can you do to change that?
Then that question would probably sit more like into trying and delay to action. You know what I mean? Of course, it can be a question, but what would be a question that is directly addressing that?
What can you do beyond hoping?
Again, it's by action. That means, in other words, you have not put in action. So remember, it's truth, reality. Okay. Then you ask a question. Let's say, for example, you ask a question, and how long has he been like this? And you say that for the last 6 years. And I'm still hoping that he will change one day. So,
I see.
Sometimes people have that kind of, they just hope and pray. Sometimes they just pray and things will change. You know what I mean? So sometimes question could be a close-ended question. Do you think this will happen? Do you think it will happen? 6 years he hasn't changed, and you're still waiting for the change. So how long more are you going to wait for him to change?
Can I ask this kind of question, Mike? What have you done to change him?
I have talked to him a little here and there, but I'm just waiting for him to change, by himself.
I see. Oh, you're playing now, is it?
Yeah, I'm not playing now. Okay, and this is the kind of guy, they just fraud lah.
Okay.
But then I'll ask you, if he's a fraud, then ask him, so why now? Why after 6 years you want to do it?
Yeah. Why not? Because that's why I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm not decided. And all the high cost. And if this continues, who is the bigger loser? He loser or you as a boss who's a loser?
The boss loses.
Yeah. So you count the high cost of in that state.
Yeah.
So this is just one of them, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, this is just basically the same thing. To give you an idea as to what they are, defining it. Okay, so how do we actually get ourselves really being able to do the reframing? First rule, we have to listen at level 2 or level 3. Empathetic listening or intuitive listening. It will not happen when you are in self-centered learning. You're not listening, just listen to facts, and you're not deep in your listening. Number 2, in your listening, you will intuitively, you'll be able to establish the outlook from their world meaning. The thing that I try, I will, I hope, I pray, So from the world meaning, from their outlook, and from their world meaning, you'll be able to, in a way, know the frame. Then seek further evidences, check to make sure that you are on the right frame. Okay. And ask him questions like, how long have you been waiting for him to change? How long have you been hoping and praying that you change? So these are further evidences. And has anything happened since the time From then until now, anything happened about him? No, he's still the same. Okay, so therefore, it's very clear. He's still hoping. So these are evidences. Then you identify the frame. And which are the key one? Which are mother, and which are the mother frame, and which are the children frame. And then this is the one that many coaches miss out when you see this elephant, the frame. They don't interject and they don't reframe. So eventually you just got to go in down there, bam, go in and ask that question while it's still hot. So you don't wait for too long. You got to pick that frame fast. And okay, maybe you won't want to do it immediately, so to speak. But you can't be waiting too long because otherwise that framing will just disappear. So these are some of those things that we need to. So a coach has to be very alert, very intuitive, very attentive, and we got to be spot on to move in. So these are some of those things. Okay, so we have done the entire thing about reframing already. I think so. Okay, I think I will just skip this one here because of time constraint. But you can take out some, yeah, we can just do this. But what we do right now is, I skip this because of the time constraint. But if you have time afterwards, we can come back to this again. So I'd like you to watch a video, okay? A video. I won't tell you who this person is. You may be able to guess it. I just want you to watch it just for a good 6-7 minutes, that's all. The video is about half an hour. We are not going to do what they call look at that. Okay, you're going to watch the video. Now, this is what you're going to do. You're going to watch the video, and then you're going to ask yourself the question: are there evidences in this video that the coach has used reframing, or he's using some other techniques? It's not because they're wrong, but are there evidences of reframing used by the coach in this video? Okay, so, and Angeline, you're there?
Yeah.
Okay, I will off the video. I will off my sharing. Okay, just watch this video. Angeline is going to let you watch the video just for about 6 minutes. No interruption. Listen carefully and watch the video.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks,
please.
Mavis. So what would you like to explore today?
Yeah.
Today I would like to talk about how do I kick off my habit of coaching up.
But instead of coaching, it's consulting, like trying to give them a solutions.
Okay, so you like to give a way to coach the person versus.
I think it's okay, Angeline. Leave it this way.
Okay.
Okay. And what would you like to get out at the end of the session?
I don't see the video.
No, I think the video is quite difficult getting on board. Just listen to the audio.
Oh, okay.
Not fall into this trap again.
Okay, so you want to have some steps to prevent yourself from falling into this trap of moving from coaching to consulting.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And why is this important for you?
Because then I will be coaching fully to the person who the person is rather than giving a solution.
Okay.
Yeah, because many a times is that the essence of coaching is about bringing the person
where they want to be to where they want to be, from where they are to where they want to be. So we tend to, the client tend to ask for solutions, but I would want to tend to use coaching to bring to where they want to be, right? Yeah.
Okay. And what does it mean for the client if they are able to, if you're able to be focusing on them rather than just the solutions?
Then you will bring a better effect, a stronger effect in making them realize what's the solutions, and they devise the solutions themselves. That would be more sustainable towards what they are actually having, their challenges.
Okay. So right now, based on your current practice, what is missing for you to do just that?
Well, I think it's not about it's not about missing items, but rather is going back to the route where I dive into give a very, very easy way out of giving them a solution. Because they will always ask questions like, okay, so what should I do next? What should I do next? Right. Yeah, and I wanted to prevent myself from doing that. So I asked questions, leading questions for them. But then they will come back and ask, okay, do you mean that I should do this? But it's not really what I'm telling them to do, but what I want them to realize for themselves.
Okay. So you wish for them to realize that for themselves rather than just getting the solutions to them.
Yep.
Okay. So if we were successful together over the next 30 minutes or so, what would that look like for us at the end of this session?
Oh, then that would be great. You know, at the end of a session, then I know that I know what are the things that I can do to prevent falling from this trap, and the next session that I'm gonna have the next coaching session that I'm gonna have is gonna be a successful one. That I know that I have confidence bring from the person to where they are now to where they want to be, without having to give them a solution, and rather it's a great satisfaction and fulfillment in that sense.
Okay. Okay, sounds great. So where would you like to begin exploring first?
I think let us begin on understanding why I'm always keep having such a habit, coming back again and again, coaching the problem rather than coaching the person.
Okay. And why do you think that happens for you again and again?
I think it's a natural instinct that you always want to know what is the problem. And you think that by coaching the problem, it gives a way out, hopefully, for the person. Yeah. So,
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's why it's like a straightforward kind of a solution that I feel.
Yeah. So you feel that giving the solutions will be more of a straightforward thing as compared to working on the person.
Something like that. I tend to gear towards that tendency. Because sometimes when I keep asking the questions, right, it seems like it's not getting to nowhere. Then after that, it actually begins to realize that things are not working. So I tend to go towards, okay, let me give you an answer, leading you to an answer. Yeah.
Okay. And when do you realize that you are beginning to give more of the answers and leading them towards that direction?
I think towards the end, where I'm trying to make a resolution for myself or for the client. Yeah, it's towards the end where we are trying to get her or the client to go into the steps, to devise the step what they need to do.
So towards the end, then you realize that you were actually leading them throughout the whole conversation, then actually looking at them as the person and coaching the person.
Yep.
Okay. And so in this process, how are you feeling as you were actually coaching them?
So in this process, I was actually quite conscious about not trying to go into that route, but yet it somehow or rather pushes me towards that directions. And that makes me feel, and again, it's like multitasking in the thought process, that I shouldn't do this, but yet I try to avoid, and the more I avoid, the more I get into it.
Okay, thank you. Angeline?
And the more you avoid, the more you get into it.
Okay. Sorry, media.
You just take it off.
Okay. So, sorry, we can't run through the whole thing, but that's enough there for us to ask ourselves this question. So my question to you is, generally, was it a good session? Do you think the coachee is moving?
No.
No.
Maybe it's too soon to say, because he just started.
From what we saw, I think there's he's delving into the issue now with her. He's going into the issue and he's not talking about the issue.
So that means the coach is all right. That's a very good point down there. So the coach was coaching the coach's issue on her issue about not being able to coach on the person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's this one. Okay. Now, anything else that you want to say?
I observed the coach use very good paraphrasing, actually. Try to seek clarity about the issues.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
on the good side of it.
Yeah. Sure. Good.
Yeah, maybe one other good point. The agenda was clear. Manisha said the agenda.
Yes, agenda was very well said.
Yeah.
Now my question: was there or are there any evidences of reframing?
No framing, no reframing.
No. Then what was the coach doing? What about the rest? Don't just let the few speak. But the rest, you can put it onto your check. Yes, put 1. No, put 2. You know what I mean? So at least you know whether you are also observing it well. So 1 means no reframing. 2 means there is reframing. Okay. Now, so there are 1 here. Okay, 1. So no reframing. Okay, no reframing. Okay. So Florence also then there's no reframing here. Doreen Lam also. Yeah. Doreen Lam also. Yeah. Okay, let's take it from there. Now, why do you say that? Why do you say that the coach didn't do reframing? Okay, Lloyd did good. Gave a good point because he was actually there to solve the issue of the coachee, this person, the coachee, who has got an issue about not being able to ask questions as opposed to giving solution. Were there any other evidences? Doreen now put down there more validating question, meaning what? Doreen, could you just speak up there? What do you mean by that? He didn't spot the elephant.
Questions for clarity and confirming what she says.
Or she's just confirming, paraphrasing, okay, more of that kind, yes. He didn't spot the elephant, okay. Now, yeah, so he didn't spot the frame. Now,
Michael,
yes.
So I think the frame here that she giving is a blaming.
Blaming?
She's blaming of feeling helpless, something.
I think significance more.
A significant? Okay, could be significant. What other frame?
Doubt.
I can't, I'll take them to the root. I'm very conscious that I should do this, but at the end, I am still, back to the same thing, giving them solution and all that. Okay, so, and then the coach asked me, okay, but how was it like, and blah, 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 okay. And so to understand her issue, that means the coach also recognizes that she has an issue. Now, the coach, that means I recognize that you also, I'm doing a diagnosis on, I'm just diagnosing the issue with you. So I'm that diagnostic. Now, if the coach has challenged or reframed, this is a very important question, the finale question. What would be questions he could have asked, or if you were the coach in this, listening to this whole thing, how would you have asked your reframing question?
What is a good thing about you doing this? Or you being...
Okay. What's a good thing about me doing this? Let's say, if I'm the coachee, what's a good thing doing this? At least I know that I'm consciously doing this. So that means, in other words, I know, and I know it's wrong, rather than I don't know it's wrong. At least I don't know how to do it, but I know that it's wrong. Okay, good. So that is a reframing. Another one?
Why do you think that your coachee thinking that you are giving them answers?
Because they happily accept. So that is not reframing yet. Because they took my answer. Because they asked and I gave. So what Martina did, what was a very good question. So what you did was you turned negative to positive. That means instead of seeing it as a problem, a negative, you reframe it to positive. Now I would give you a hint because of time constraint. A reframing from present and future to the past. To the past. Oh, right now I'm doing this, and I think I will continue doing this, always giving solution to people and all that. Okay, so she see herself that, and she see herself keep on that she will keep on doing that. Now, I'd like you to reframe it to the past.
So if you are able to coach the person, how this would, if you are able to coach the person and not the issue, how this would have affected your past sessions?
How would it have?
How this would have affected your past sessions or past coaching sessions?
You're very clear. You're very close to it, no? But it's not clear.
Was there a time you were coaching the person instead of the issue?
Okay, you're getting very, very close. Very, very close. Okay, it could be something like this kind. Compare yourself now, and compare yourself when you first took up coaching. Has there been an improvement? You know what I mean? So I try to appreciate. Yeah, I was also still giving a lot of solution, but I think my solution now is lesser than those days when I was giving them a whole load of solution. Then, okay, so let's say you say that. I would say that it is better, definitely better now than before. Then what's your next question? You got to follow with the next question. Huh? Yes, you're right. There were, if I compare myself with when I first started, definitely I could see some improvement. I'm less directive than before. Let's say he said that. She said that.
So what did you do in past to achieve this improvement?
Okay. I consciously tell myself not to give answer. And because of that, I reduce giving answer to them. Good. Next question.
How you can do this more often?
Yes. Beautiful. Then you not only reframe, but you reframe with an action plan. Then I will be more conscious of that. I tell myself this, I tell myself that. So the action plans are also up. Not only you have reframed, but there were some actions, some concrete actions down there that you could do. So if you approach that coaching session that way, you find that the coach, you work less harder. You don't have to be very diagnostic. You don't have to be too forensic in a sense. Okay, so what happened down there? So what was it like? How did you feel then? So you go along that route. Okay, it may be a longer route because you're trying to solve the issue from a problem to a problem basis, as opposed of not looking at it as a problem, taking a different perspective, looking at the past successes, and from there build the future. So that's basically what reframe is. So when coaches use reframing, you really cut down the processes and you work less harder. That I can tell you that. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
So dear friends, if you can put on your camera, that'd be really good. So there you are, dear friends. That's reframing. If you spend just over an hour.
Amazing.
So how do you find the session, dear friends? Can you just put it on your chat box? 1 means excellent, 2 means good.
Mike, from my observation, we all of us, including you, we don't use the word accuse the person saying fantastic, that's a good thing to do. So how to ensure we seldom use that, in this conversation. That is to encourage the coachee or the other person to move further, is it?
Actually, what's your question?
My question is, from the activities that I noticed just now, we seldom saying, oh, that's fantastic, that's good. So how to move further? So saying something like giving motivation to the person before we move on to the next question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you mean the coach didn't do that?
I mean, in these activities we play just now. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
We asked a lot of questions, but we didn't say encouraging words like, oh, that's good. So how to ensure that moving further, that your coachee would be able to take action by themselves rather than we straight away ask a question. You know what I mean?
You mean to say the coach, we should enthuse the coachee more?
Enthuse the coachee.
Yeah.
Enthuse.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course, you know that if that is being put into it, it's also good. But then we also need to be careful. Sometimes we say, "Oh, that's good. That's right. That's fantastic."
Okay.
It may also be. It may not also be good. We have to take note of that because then we become like a big judge that says this is good, this is no good, that is fantastic. So you may fall into that where that becomes like you are evaluating as to what is good and what is not good. So that can also be a danger point to take note. But of course, having said that, enthusing generally is always something good and very motivating for people.
Okay.
Okay, dear friends, thank you so much for the session. It's very short and sweet. So this 1 hour, I hope that it has helped you to be sharper and of course being able to reframe your coachee. And you know, when you reframe your coachee, it is about really raising their self-awareness. And I always maintain a coach who can raise a coach's self-awareness to the highest level, that is the mark of a good coach.
Yep.
Okay. So we will always be in this journey of keeping sharpening our saw in this area. So thank you so much, Angeline.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much. But before you go, dear friends, can we just have a group photograph for some memory, and then see you again in 3 months' time. But before you go, if you can just have your camera, that'd be really good. Your picture. Yeah, just for a couple of seconds. Yeah. Pauline is there as well. Okay. Oh, Catherine, I'm seeing you. Okay. Nice to see you.
No, wait. We're going to stay somewhere first. Okay, one more. Smile, everybody.
And see you again in 3 months' time, in another great session together.
Okay, should be okay.
Okay, keep well, dear friends.
Hi, Florence.
Keep safe, keep well, and see you again in 3 months' time.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Mike,
Hi.
Mike.
Yes, dear.
Can you share with me that particular slide, the one on the frame and then the cues? Can I take a photo of that?
Which one? Okay,
The one, the frame and the cues.
Oh, okay. Let me go back to it. Okay, I can do that. Which one? Not this one.
Where's your notes?
This one, the cue, very much at the front.
Very much in the front.
The cue.
Oh, okay. This one. Okay.
Cue. The cue. Yeah. This is the cue. Yeah, I want to cue. Okay, I got it.
Okay, got it. All right. Thanks for coming. And
Yeah,
take care, dear
pleasure.
friend.
Yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Okay. Bye-bye, dear friend.
Bye.